Hello everyone. You are watching a segment of the Countdown program from January 18, 2024. Today is Thursday. See all of our programs on Patreon. They are not jammed there. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. I'll talk about the themes of the postscript later, but now about the most important thing. After the loss of the A-50 and EL-1820 a quiet panic began in the General Staff of the Ministry of Defense. According to the British Ministry of Defense, a possible successful attack by Ukraine on the A-50 is of great significance. It is likely that Russia will now be forced to reconsider the issue of limiting the range of its aircraft. The A-50 is critical to the Russian aerial surveillance picture of the combat space. End of quote. To be clear, the A-50s are key components of the fourth-generation aircraft that Russia is deploying. They are especially important for intercepting low-flying cruise missiles and aircraft or long-range drone strikes. Fewer A-50s and other early warning systems would make Russian ships in the Black Sea highly vulnerable to surprise attacks by low-flying F-16 fighters, and Moscow's defenses would be forced to work around the clock. And now, near St. Petersburg, a Ukrainian drone explodes, attacking an oil terminal. Indeed, the Russian Cyclops is now virtually blinded and will not be able to provide critical information with the help of a plane shot down over the Sea of Azov. The Russian Ministry of Defense whispers that this could most likely have been done by specialists from Britain. According to data provided to us by an informant, in the General Staff of the Russian Ministry of Defense, part of the generals is already ready, if not to capitulate, then to begin leaking secret data to the West. Some high-ranking generals who do not have direct access to Western intelligence services ask their acquaintances to call those who can arrange this for them without disclosing their names. In fact, we are talking about readiness to cooperate with Western intelligence services for the sake of some future preferences. The loss of two strategic aircraft is considered by senior officers and generals of the Russian Ministry of Defense as catastrophic. In recent weeks, there have been clear indications that Moscow was using its A-50 alongside Russia's advanced S-400 and S-500 surface-to-air missile systems, as well as long-range missiles. This is a more aggressive way of using early warning aircraft, creating a very dangerous and lethal combination, Western analysts say. Perhaps the latest A-50 reconnaissance was due to Russian expectations of the F-16 arriving in Ukraine, which would give the Kyiv Air Force more modern avionics and better radars. Moscow hoped to attack the F-16s on the ground and in the air as soon as possible, and the stronger Russian forces and ground defenses were at that point, the better for the Kremlin. British intelligence reports that the Russians have 8 more aircraft similar to the downed A-50. According to other sources, the Russian army has 3 more such aircraft as the destroyed A-50, but even if aviation cannibalism is used, it is unlikely that they will be able to assemble a full-fledged aircraft that could fully replace the lost one. Watch this and other stories in full on Patreon. Become our patrons right now and look further in this program. A report released Tuesday by the American Institute for the Study of War suggested that Putin's recent rhetoric toward the Baltic states is aimed at creating the information conditions for future escalation. The Russians are already jamming GPS signals in Poland, Finland and Estonia. The United States launched its 4th series of strikes against the Houthis in Yemen. And Pakistan hit several targets on Iranian territory. More and more countries are being drawn into the orbit of the Middle East war. To reduce the threat posed by Russians and Belarusians, Estonia wants to rewrite the constitution. Watch in the program, Postscript. The unrest in Bashkortostan caused a wave of unhealthy optimism. It has begun, the region is about to secede. But the swamp gurgled and became covered with duckweed. And the head of Bashkortostan, Kabirov, called the activists traitors, fueled by puppet masters from abroad. Nikki Haley, who is running to become the Republican presidential candidate, refused to take part in the next televised debate, which Trump stubbornly ignores. The next debate will be with either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I'm looking forward to it, she said. And that is all. Become our patrons and see all the details on the Patreon resource. Soon there will be even more programs, more videos. I hugged everyone. We will meet you tomorrow on Friday Live. Glory to Ukraine.